The Guys Podcast. I got the homie Tiffany here. Today we're gonna talk about an interesting topic. My boy Tyree couldn't make it, but we're gonna fill him in. He'll be on next episode, like he never left. Tiff, what up?
Hey, what's up?
How's everything?
Wonderful.
It seems more empty, right? Normally it's
I
like,
know.
how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a pretty cool Sunday. Um, nothing, just laid back and chill.
Hmm.
Nothing too hectic, as Sunday should be.
Exactly. It's my clean day.
The clean day. So let's get right into this topic.
All
Um,
right.
who's the prize in relationships? And also, too, kind of just to add something to the topic, I truly believe that in order for a relationship to be optimal and for it to work, the woman has to like and love the man more. I don't think relationships tend to last when the man is in love with the woman more than she is in love with him. So
All right, let's do it.
let's get right into it. Tim, tell me what's your perspective on that? Like, what are your beliefs on that?
On which topic?
I think you know what I've noticed, because we have so much insight and so much to add. Even if we just stick to one topic, it kind of other topics kind of like come into the main topic that we were talking about. So I think both of those topics go hand in hand,
Okay.
right?
So let's start off with
Like
the
I
prize.
with both of those.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I believe, and I think majority of people believe that the woman is the prize in the relationship or the marriage. And there's a lot of history that goes behind that thinking.
mhm.
Um, way back, thousands of years ago, when people got married, they got more money for the prettier daughter or the daughter that could carry, more water than the other one could. And when someone asks you to be a part of their life for the rest of their lives, their hand in marriage,
Mhm.
they're picking, they've got a plethora of doors to choose from. So a man could pick what's behind door number one, two, three, four, and he chooses door number four,
Mhm.
right? The gifts that are bestowed upon a woman, during that courtship, right? Dating, putting money out there, buying an engagement ring, all of that lends to the woman being the prize. And we talk about, well, who's looking at who, going down the aisle. No one really pays attention to the groom, right? He's in a suit, he might look dapper, handsome or whatever, but in general, everyone rises when the prize walks down the aisle, right? She
Mhm.
is the one that can bear children,
Mhm.
which is, historically speaking, the reason, for marriage is procreation.
Mhm.
So that's why I feel like the woman is the prize.
Okay, you made some really good points. You made some really really good points. And you know what I respect about you is that I never when I debate this topic, and I'm always on the side of the man being the prize, not because I'm a man, because I'm just looking at it from an objectional stance. I've never heard anyone point out things that you just stated, so I have a lot of respect for that. That was very, very thought provoking. But I still think the man's the prize for the simple fact is, let me ask you a question: who's more selective? So wait, let me go back. So I do like the perspective that you took, because you're the first one that took it back to nostalgia of what marriage is supposed to be, right? Like
Mhm,
the virgin, right? That's why she wears white, right? Virginity, white. It goes hand in hand. There's dowries, right? You have
mhm,
to prove that you can take care of this woman. Like fathers would make sure that you had enough economical resources and could provide and protect. Fathers would not just giving their daughters away without understanding what they're giving their daughters to. So I like the fact that you went to traditionalism in its true sense of what marriage is supposed to be. Now we're just winging it, doing whatever we want to do. But
yeah.
from that perspective, I would say that because the woman is more vulnerable, society geared it around making sure that you offer her something for her presence in your life. Not because she's the prize, but because she's the more vulnerable out of the two, right? As a father, I don't have a son, I have a daughter, but as a father, right, women have always been protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different. It's no coincidence that men from different countries and civilizations and cultures treated women the same. They didn't treat women like an equal, not because they didn't have respect for women, but because they knew that women needed protection, right? And we're talking about a time where there wasn't no police officers, there were no firefighters. You couldn't get on the phone and call for someone to come and aid you. You would have to rely on a man. You would have to rely on your uncle, your father, your brother, so
Right.
and so on, right? So women are the weaker out of the sexes. Women are the more emotionally led out of the sexes.
Mm-hmm.
Women tend to need guidance more than men. Not to say men don't need guidance, but women tend to be led more by their emotions. So that doesn't prove that they're the prize. That just proves that they're the more vulnerable sex. That's one. That's going back to the traditionalism. But now let's move along. So you did good, but I still gotta light you up. I still gotta get you. Because like that's so beautiful that you mentioned that the traditionalism, because like I said, I've never heard nobody go to that part when they're trying to like defend their argument. But now moving forward, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
More selective out of the sexes, men or women?
I'm going to bring it to present day, and I'm going to say women are more selective.
But wait, back in the day, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I promise
Yeah.
not to overlook what you said, speaking about what happened in the past, but women had no choice of who they married back then. It was more so of a community or father. They were the ones telling their daughters, which I agree with. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, right? You have good family.
Like arranged marriage.
Exactly, because they know they did their due diligence and made
Right.
sure that you're getting a man that can provide long-term security. But just to go, because I don't want to discredit what you said, right? But now, modern day, finish what you were saying. I'm sorry. So bringing it to modern day time.
So in modern day, I would say that women are more selective. Men, and you're not going to get far with a woman unless she green lights it. Unless you strong arm them, and that's a whole different subject, right? Mm-hmm. But a woman has to feel a connection. You know, there's got to be a vibe going on, and it's ultimately up to her whether she's going to go on a second date with you or on a first date, if she's going to answer your text message or call you back. You know what I mean? So women now have the pick of the litter, and they can choose, I'm not messing with him, I'm gonna mess with this person, you know. Whereas I feel like men are struggling in that aspect where they're just struggling. They're struggling, you know. It's not as easy as it used to be. I feel like if we bring it back, you know, to the beginning, they didn't have to necessarily court because it was arranged, right? Depending on how wealthy your family was or wasn't, depended on if you got the prettier or not, or you know what I mean, whatever that looked like. And so, of course, courting is part of being selective, but it's a lot harder for men now because women do have so many choices.
Yeah, for sure. And I would argue women have more choices at just initial engagement in sex, right?
Oh, yeah.
Women don't have, like, I would argue, I think that the optionality comes in because men are very desperate in the dating market. So desperate breeds more fulfillment for women because, like you said, they do have their pick of the litter. So women are the more selective sex. I agree with you, and even people who don't agree, I'll defeat that disagreement because women have to be more selective because of biology. So it's not even a question of who the more selective sex is, right? Even if someone has an anecdotal experience and says, "Well, I know a man that's way more selective," that's just your personal experience with one or two men, right? That doesn't make the rule. But when we're talking about the majority, right? So you have to be more selective because a woman choosing a bad mate has more repercussions than a man choosing a bad mate. A man, whether he's a deadbeat or not, we're not going to debate that. But a man who's a piece of shit, let's just say, can fly to another country, get 10 girls pregnant at once, and leave.
Yeah.
And the woman has to sit for 9 months with that mistake, right? So a woman is more reminded of her bad choices and what bad choices dealing with reproduction can bring. Men, we
Great
can just
point.
get a patient pregnant at once, right? A man can get, like I always say, sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive, right?
Mm,
Like we get millions of sperm. A woman already has a preset amount of eggs that she's gonna get,
yep.
right? Already preset. Even as like a little girl, I was reading something. It's already starting to develop, and this is why once they lose a certain amount of eggs, they can't like they don't get more eggs, right?
Right.
It's
Nope.
like right. Men, we get like millions and millions of sperm, right? So men are not meant to be as discerning with how they spread their seed like women are, because
Yeah.
women have to rely on, because when a woman's pregnant, right? Because we're still, even though we're in modern day time, biology hasn't caught up, right? I mean, like it still hasn't caught up, right? So back in the day, if a woman was pregnant, she could starve to death. Her kid can starve to death if she didn't have a strong enough man to go out there and hunt, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
protect her, right? So she needed calories to sustain her and her man. That means she needed a strong man who was capable and who was who had that competence to be able to complete those tasks,
Yeah.
right? She's going through a pregnancy. She can't run as fast. She can't jump as high. She's vulnerable. So a woman making a bad decision getting pregnant by a man who's a loser tends to represent a higher sense of um of repercussion, excuse me, than a man would. So it has to be more selective, right? So
Exactly.
I agree with you with that. So I wanted to ask you, since women are more selective and men, we really don't ask for much, if the man that she is selective, because she's selective to men, and actually say one of those guys meet all her expectations, even despite the fact that she's selective, and men we don't ask for much, who's more harder to come across, that man that meets all her requirements, or a man that doesn't really have that much ask of the woman? Because beauty is common, high value men are not, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's a lot harder to come by high value men. And I'm including a couple different layers with that. I'm including the, is secure financially, right? Doesn't have to be making six figures, but secure financially, has okay credit, let's say 650 and over, um, has their own
Oh, that's
car.
like a low bar.
I'm just, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm not saying the creme de la creme. I'm not saying that he has to make $500,000, 800 credit score, has to be driving, the latest, you know, whatever, like I'm saying like the medium, the medium, right? Um,
Like the bare
in
minimum.
right. In addition to that, someone who can communicate, who is understanding, who is emotionally intelligent, maybe someone who doesn't believe in household gender roles, okay? There's a big difference with that. Those things matter in today's society when it comes to women. And so when you are, even if you do the medium, it's still difficult to, maybe find someone who's not a mama's boy, right? And doesn't know how to leave their parents behind to start their own family and be the man of their own household, because they're still struggling with being the child of their mother's household. um and so it's difficult, for women to find that ideal man.
Is it, but Tip, is it difficult because a lot of the things that women want are oxymorons? Like, think about it. What you just said, a man that I'm not gonna say what you said, but most women want a man that's masculine, right? That's in
Mhm.
charge of his life, a man that's dominant. Men who are masculine and dominant and go getters tend to be men who are traditional, and traditional men tend to believe in gender roles, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's like me saying I want a woman who's a religious prostitute.
Okay, you can have a religious woman who's a freak in the sheets, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but a religious woman and a freak in the sheets is still, it's still two ends of the spectrum, right? Like you can't really. just ask for the things you want and not understand that the things you want tend to come with other things that you might not expect or you might have to learn to actually deal with if you want the kind of man that you want, right?
Right, absolutely. And it's vice versa too, right? I think men are struggling.
No, but I think men are more simple though. Like men, we're very simple. Like all we want is peace. We want a woman to come in, even if she's not that attractive.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ask for much. So just for starters, we don't rely on a woman's income, right?
You're not supposed to.
Okay, we're not. But I'm saying, yeah, I know we're not. But I mean, most men, that's not a relationship ender for men. Like men are going to leave their woman if she loses her job. Like we'll date a girl that's bagging groceries at a grocery store if she's pretty and she's agreeable and she's friendly and she's feminine. That doesn't shut a woman down because of her economical status or her social status. Like we don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
Men, we don't really ask for much. All we ask is for small things, and women still can't do those small things. So my whole thing is, even the things that women want are contradictions within itself. Like I want a guy who's a guy that's capable of violence, but also a guy that's soft and sweet and tender and open and emotional. Not to say that
right,
but it's so contrasting to me.
It's not an oxymoron, right? And I'll break it down. You're not supposed to be a thug to your wife, to your woman, right? You're not supposed to turn that aggression onto her. You were supposed to treat her with care. You know what I mean? And love. Like she is something
of a man being a capable of violence, a man that's a warrior and still not turning that aggression. But these women tend to like convicts. Like these women, like they like actually felt like that's a big difference, right? Because Tiff, here's the thing that
what's that show called? I'm in love with a convict. What is that?
Never.
There's this I think it's like TLC or something, and it's literally a show that like it starts off with like the women picking their men up from prison. And they follow them. Oh my God. It's like I'm in love with a felon or something.
Right? And that shit is crazy. But I'm not surprised because I know that's like Ted Bundy was getting fucking love letters.
Right.
Ted Bundy, not only was he a fucking criminal, but he murdered and raped and
women. Right.
Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Yes, women. But
women were giving him fucking like marriage proposals.
Well, you know what? Oh, that's a great example, Mo. So a lot of some of the serial killers that you name actually lived double lives. They had wives and kids that had no idea that they were capable of the horrendous crimes that they were actually being accused of, because at home they were a different person.
That still doesn't answer for the woman who did know after the conviction, still giving them these.
Yeah, no, that I mean, okay, yeah, then no, that's crazy. Like I'm never gonna like you murdered people.
Women. So here's my thing, right? There's a lot of guys, Tiff, that are capable, who are combat veterans, right? MMA, jiu-jitsu guys who are capable of great violence, but at the same time, they might display such softness that it turns a woman off. But what I'm saying is that women tend to be in love with the guys who displays violent tendencies. Just because you display violent tendencies doesn't mean that you're tough.
I think that has to do with how we're wired. Right, because we're wired for the guy to be the protector and masculine.
Now, and that's a woman, right? So now we're women, and I'm not arguing how a woman's wired, and this is why we're debating this. Not debating this, is how we're having this discussion, because women are wired a certain kind of way, which leads me to say they want things that are diametrically opposed to what one part of it that they want. So, for instance, a woman might say, "I want a guy that's handsome, tall, muscular, that's like very desirable, but I don't want him to cheat." Wouldn't it be easier to say, hey, let me get a guy let me not focus on a guy that's that attractive and handsome, but more so his other traits. That might give me a better chance to be in a relationship with a man that's probably not going to cheat.
A male friend of mine actually gave me that advice a few years ago, like maybe 7 years ago, right? I was complaining about like what the hell is going on with men and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he told me, he was like, if you don't want to be cheated on, you're going to need to find yourself like a 5'10", maybe a little heavy set, you know, a little overweight, you know, not good looking guy, you know, he will treat you like he will not stray. You will be the Madonna in his life, you know what I mean? And like the Beyonce, and like you wouldn't have to worry about him straying or other women and you know all of that stuff. And I was like, I don't know about all that. That's
See, I'm the friend's gonna tell you truth past what he just said. If that guy that's not as attractive, right, based upon what the status quo is, given the chance, he'll still fuck the same amount of girls if he could that the guy who's handsome is fucking. See, see the difference between I think men and women is that women are not empathetic, and I've always said this. And what do I mean by empathy? Wait, can I tell you what I mean?
Yeah, please.
Women are not sympathetic. Women are sympathetic. And here's the thing, though. There's always, I can give women excuses for why they are not what they are and are who they are. Is because women don't have to be empathetic, right? Because men do the approaching. Men are the ones that's coming up to you. So you don't have to get to understand men until now. You want to marry a certain kind of man. Mm-hmm. This is women struggle who are a little bit older that want to get married because they live their whole life getting over on just their basic talent. It's like being in the NBA, like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, imagine a guy that got drafted and all his life he was just naturally talented. He didn't have to eat healthy. He didn't have to work out. He didn't have to train. He still dropped 40 a night.
Right.
Until he starts to get older and knows that his talent now is going to have to come straight from his work ethic.
Yeah.
And his mentality on how to pick his spots, not just his athletic ability. Then he's going to have to go back and say, damn, let me go back and see what I can do differently. Mm-hmm. And now this is how women are. Women who are beautiful never had to be empathetic because women are doing the approaching. A woman can have bad habits and guys will still be there in droves and droves and droves. Now, that doesn't mean that you can get the guy that you want to marry you, right? So now as she gets older or she's looking for a serious relationship, she's now dealing with men that are better than her, right? Mm-hmm. So men who are better than her for the first time has more options than her, right? Well, not even more, but has more options than the guys that she was dealing with.
Yeah.
Men control who gets the ring, women control who gets sex.
Yep.
So now she's going to have to sit down for the first time and be empathetic to understand how men think, right? So I would say only time a woman is empathetic is after failures. Men, we have to be empathetic from the rip because if we don't understand you guys, we're not going to fucking have any chance with you guys.
But you guys don't understand women.
No, but and here's the thing. The guys who don't, that's why there's a bunch of fucking simps. That's why there's a bunch of, right, incels, they don't understand. But the guys who are pretty successful with women, they understand women's nature, right? That's why they're successful. So I would say there are more desperate men for sex than it is desperate women supplying them men.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. So by default, they're going to be more guys, even if they're not empathetic yet, they're striving to be more empathetic. There's a reason behind them wanting to be more empathetic, because if you keep on striking out, you're going to have to sit down and say, damn, like, I really don't understand women. And this is why so many guys come to a space to where is that they start to become assholes and they start to have better success because they learn, damn, the things that women say that they want, they really don't want. It's the opposite. So now they're even more empathetic because they're reaching women from a subconscious level. You know what I'm saying, Tiff?
I would say maybe empathetic is the wrong word to say, and I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure which one to put in there, because empathy is the ability to stand in someone else's shoes, right? Like, yeah. And in my experience, it has been very difficult to get men to understand. Like my personal experience, and just like, you know, from people around me, right? It's really difficult to have a man understand what it's like to have period cramps, or to be pregnant, or to be a pretty girl, right? Like, it is, I have always said, it's a double-edged sword. Like, you get attention that you don't want. And I'm shy in social settings. Like, you know, I can rise to the occasion. I'm an ambivert. But I'm shy in certain settings, and I always have my sunglasses on, my big dark sunglasses on all the time, because I am shy. I don't want people looking at me. You know what I mean? I don't like that type of like oogling type of attention upon me. And a lot of people think that very beautiful women like thrive Like they love that. Like, you know what I mean? Like they wake up every morning like, who's gonna, you know, how many people are gonna be staring at me today? And it's like actually the complete opposite. It's like, please don't look at me. Like I'm just a regular person. Don't, you know what I mean? Like just treat me like, you know, like I'm just some mediocre person. And I think that it's kind of difficult because let's say cheating, a perfect example. If men were empathetic towards women's feelings when they're in a serious relationship or a marriage, they would never step out because they would understand that even though it's just sex to you, they would understand to a female that it means so much more. It goes against the vows that we took, right? Whether in front of God or not, it goes against the whole point of, you know, being open and being one, right? Two people become one, not two people become one and then one person can branch off, and you know what I mean? Like, and so I feel like I don't know the word yet. I'm gonna find it. Maybe it'll come to me before this podcast goes off. But I think that men struggle with empathy, to be honest.
So I'm gonna use the same argument against you right now, and I'm gonna say the reason why I think that cheating, you can't use cheating because cheating is a part of a man's. Cheating is wrong morally, right? So now let me just distinguish. Ethically, it's wrong. Why is something judged and being said to be wrong when it goes against a man's nature? It's not in a man's nature to be monogamous. It is not. That's just like me saying you should stay with a man even though he's broke, he doesn't protect you anymore, and he doesn't provide for you anymore. If a man came to me and said, yo, bro, my wife left me because I couldn't protect, provide, and provision, and she left me, I would say, it's only a man's nature that's not respected and understood. Like, as a man, we know we have to rise to a certain level to even entertain a woman. Like, we know when we get married to a woman, that financial burden, 9 times out of 10 is going to be on our back. Even though it's the 50-50, we're still, you know, like, there's like a unspoken word. We're still responsible for more of that financial burden than you guys are.
Right.
Even if it's said or is not. Like, for instance, like I said on another episode, I said, if I took you out on a date, Tiff, and I don't pay, I run the risk of never seeing you again and knowing that is my fault.
And like, you know what? And I'm going to agree with you. You're 1,000% right. But if we had that conversation from the beginning, then maybe going Dutch would not turn me off.
But it's still, but here's the thing too. Let's go a little bit deeper. The things that you agree to logically doesn't mean that your biology agrees with it. You'll be way more successful in life if you do the things that a woman wants biologically more than what she's asking for logically. I'm gonna say that again. Listen to, because look,
okay, we're listening.
Look, Tim, we're so programmed to say what we want because we're taught. I believe in nature over nurture.
Okay.
In the sense, nurture does exist, yes, because I'm gonna use this. There's sociopaths and there's psychopaths. The difference between sociopaths and psychopaths are sociopaths were created through their environment and upbringing. Psychopaths were born that way. They were born on like, how can I say, that part of their brain of empathy is just like cut off.
Right.
So people are born some ways. In some ways, I mean, some people are born to be one thing and another person is created to be that thing. This is the main difference between social and psycho. Psychopaths they can't help it. They're born that way. Sociopaths, because they might have grown up in a war-torn country or because they grew up in an area where gangbanging was the norm, they had to become that, right? Same thing with the women. I never talk to a woman's logic. I talk to her emotion. And I think that if we start to understand each other biologically, we'll start to forgive each other a little bit more. Because if you fucking grow up thinking that a woman's going to love you unconditionally and she leaves, you're going to be heartbroken. But what if you knew deep down inside that a woman is not wired to love you unconditionally? This is why I always say you can either love women or understand them. You can't do both. Because the things that make you, listen to me, the things that make you understand a woman makes you understand that you're on borrowed time if you don't get your shit together. Ideally, as a man, we want a woman to be able to love us even though we're broke and we lose our job and don't know when we're going to get a next job. Wouldn't it be beautiful to say like, damn, I lost my job and my wife is going to fucking support me for life and she'll never cheat on me and she won't entertain other men. I'm not saying that.
No, I know, but for life is crazy. You added for life and that's crazy.
man will do it for life. See, that's the difference, right? Because men, we don't mind taking care of our. If my girl came to me and said, "Yo, I don't know if I want to work ever again," that won't be a reason to why I leave her. The reason why I would leave her is if infidelity is at play, right? The way you look at security is the way we look at infidelity. Right. I'm saying you can scratch a man's car, you can fucking be the crazy girl, but as long as you don't fuck another nigga, you're good.
Right.
Like, we don't leave girls unless they commit like infidelity.
Yeah.
Right? You guys leave for not being protected anymore, not being provided for anymore, not being entertained, like emotionally. Like, women have more ask.
We do have more ask.
But Tip, I'm giving you an out. But Tip, I'm giving you an out right now because when you understand a woman, you can never think of them as an equal. And the thing of this that I'm gonna say is that when the women are truly happy is when their husbands or boyfriends don't think of them as equal. You guys don't want fucking equality. You guys want a man to plan it because listen, we have to plan the date, pay for the date. We have to be the one that keeps the energy going on a date. We have to be the one to do. We have to set the whole fucking stage for you to just do what you're gonna do naturally if you're comfortable, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, Tip, is that once you understand women, you don't fall in love with women because you know you're only as good as what you can fucking perform and provide and do for her. Because women love, because let's go back to the nature of a woman. She has to, because so much of her survival depends on that.
Right.
So you can't even hate her for being that way. That's why I said, like, I truly understand women. So I can really dance with a woman and understand, like, there's nothing wrong with playing with the pipe. There's nothing wrong with playing with a rattlesnake if you understand it's fucking
it'll bite you. It can bite you, right?
Exactly, right? So the men that fail are the men that fucking play with rattlesnakes but not understanding it's a fucking rattlesnake.
I think, all right, so a couple points. One, I think women leaving and like not loving a man unconditionally, I think it's a duality to that. I think women can lose respect for a man and still be madly in love with him. And I think that might be the difference, right?
But Tiff, you think that a woman can actually, I think that in order for a woman to truly have a romantic love for you, she has to respect you first. Respect comes first.
Well, no. So we're talking about, let's say, my man loses his job, right? That scenario, right? So obviously we've been in a relationship, we've been in a marriage, he loses his job. Or maybe he gets beat up, right? Y'all are at the bar.
Yeah.
Happens, he gets his ass, right? I think that it's the loss of respect that happens before the loss of love happens a lot of times. And the loss of respect could be how you're treating me. It may not even be because I saw you, get your ass whipped in public, right? It could be, you're turning against me. You're treating me like it's the enemy. You're not doing what the husband is supposed to be doing, which is pouring. We're supposed to be pouring into each other.
I'm glad you said that. Now, this is deep. Here's what I think. I think that a woman, in order for a woman to love you, she has to respect you first. Now, once both of those things are established, she loses respect quicker than she loses love.
Yes.
So this is why a woman can't cheat on you and still love you.
I mean, a man could cheat on you and still love you too. I've heard that.
No, it's not the same because men don't view sex the way women view. That's another topic, but
right.
It's a man doesn't look at and view sex, not even say look at logically. Biologically, men don't approach sex the way women approach sex. Right? That's I already told you. If you look at a man and woman biologically, the reproductive system is fucking different. Like a man can get a men are not meant to be like a woman is not meant to get a woman can't get pregnant by more than one man at once. A woman can have one man's child, twins, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, but only one man can give you those quadruplets or quintuplets. I can fucking go to a town and get 100 as much sperm as I can spread around. I can get 1,000 women pregnant. Nature intended for men to be less guarded with their sexuality than women. Right. I'm saying
absolutely.
Yeah, nature intended men to be less discriminative on how they spread their seed in comparison to a woman. Yeah, who receives the seed from. Remember, the woman is the receiver, the man's the giver, right?
Yep.
So there's plenty of situations where women still love the man and will still fuck another man because the respect is not there.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that a woman might hate the way you treat her, but you treat her like you're the prize. You treat her the way a man who has other options. Think about it. Women tend to be more receptive to men who have other options that don't make them a fucking priority.
Mm-hmm.
That shows them that I'm better than you and I can replace you. Men who act like that tend to get more respect and more compliance from women. Now, when something doesn't make sense, Tiff, logically, you have to get a deeper. This is how life goes. It's like, damn, why is it that the guys who do everything that the women say that they want don't get the same type of response as the man who does the fucking complete opposite? Smart people find the reason why. People who are not as smart tend to just hate that reason of it being the way it is. I don't get mad when I see things like that. I say, damn, there has to be another reason why.
Right.
So this is why I always say a lot of times the things that a woman tell you that she likes are not the same things that make her want to fuck you, right? Because the things that a woman tells you she likes are things that give her the leverage in a relationship, are the things that make her more favorable in a relationship. But it doesn't tell you the things that make her more vulnerable. And I will argue a person will always tell you what they like. If I have a job, say if I started a corporation, Tiff,
Mm-hmm.
and I hire you. If I ask you, Tiff, what do you want from me? You're going to tell me everything that's going to benefit you.
Right.
As the employer, I'm going to tell you these are the things that I'm willing to give and not depending on what's going to benefit the corporation.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to fucking have leverage in that situation is being the better corporation.
Right.
Like a Harvard gets many applicants. So they're allowed to tell a person, yo, you have to have this fucking type of SAT score. You have to have this community service. You have to have this. And guess what? There's going to be people who's going to fucking compete for that position. So as a man, once you become the certain kind of man that's top tier that all women want, you can have more ask of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And give less fucking care to what she wants because she wants to be with you so bad that she's willing to overlook some of the things that give her the leverage. Because look, because deep down inside, women don't want the fucking leverage. Because when a woman has the leverage, that's when you pedestalize her, and that's when she looks down on you.
I mean, I might. All right, so let me put myself in this example. I think that if I came across a guy who was like Jeff Bezos rich, right?
Yeah.
I might forgo, my career. You know what I mean? What makes me independent per se, right? And so I'm agreeing with you in that sense of, of depending on the man, a woman will maybe reprioritize, what's really important to her opposed to or not, because now I gotta add this to the list. Now I'm a billionaire's wife. I never thought that would be on my list, right? So
guess what, Tim? Here's the problem with, and this is why it's so hard for men, because just because you're Jeff Bezos or have Jeff Bezos money doesn't mean your girl's gonna respect you. See, here's the thing too. Just having money and not understanding female nature will still put you in a position where you need respect. So this is why you have to have masculine frame, you have to have game, you have to have confidence in the money. Because a man with money, but who's a fucking sucker, is still going to be a man that has that gets no respect.
Is a sucker, right? Exactly. It doesn't matter how much money you make.
So things that make a man valuable to a woman, he has to go out. I can't just wake up and be a 19-year-old man and say I'm valuable because I have abs and the chest and pecs and I'm handsome. I have to still do things to make a woman want me. And now when you look at a woman can wake up, be 19 and pretty, and all she has to do is be quiet. That's all she needs to do. The things that make a woman great is already within herself.
Right.
Whether she's that or not, she work on it.
I'm going to say, especially because we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of people that are listening to us that are maybe between the ages of, let's just say 20 to 35. Yeah. And we know that like that age group is really struggling. They're struggling in the dating field, they're struggling to maintain committed relationships and they're not getting married, right? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this is where I say the reason why it is making it so hard is because everybody's surface, right? People are not digging deep within themselves. What do you stand for? What are your values? What are your morals? What do you really want from yourself and from somebody else? A lot of people can't answer those basic questions today. And they're so focused on the surface. You know, what does she look like? What size is her BBL? What does he look like? How, you know what I mean? What is he driving? And so it's like this superficial generation that are like perpetrating these fake relationships, right? And it's a setup for failure. Because if you marry somebody just because of a couple of surface things, like the iceberg, you marry people based on the tip of the iceberg, and you procreate with them. And then you realize that there's a whole bunch of shit that you can see, you know, beneath the surface. And I think that that's where, like, it's just like this chaos in relationships are happening. And that's why women are like, I'm not dating anymore. Fuck these niggas. And that's why you either have simps or you have dudes that are like, I'm not taking care of women. I'm not paying for dates. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And it's almost like the sexes are at a standstill with each other. But it's all been a setup because it's like no one's digging deep anymore. If y'all would just learn how to ask the right questions or look for something beyond the physical, you know, you guys wouldn't have such a hard experience.
But I think too that the problem is too is that average women don't want average men. Like that's like see, here's the thing. When you ask any woman, most women, when you ask them, even on like podcasts, when I've seen this shit countless of times, describe your ideal man. Whether a woman knows it or not, I mean, whether a woman know it or not, they're automatically describing men that are in like the top 5%. Like yo, women don't understand. Once you say I want a man, even 5'11", yo, there's only about what, like 18% of the population who's like 6 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Around that.
It's a lower.
Now, even if you go to 5'11", what is it like? Fucking like what?
I think 5'10", 5'11" is average, right?
Oh, 5'8", 9.
8'9". Okay.
So 5'8". At one time it was 5'8". So
these dudes are getting smaller.
so 5'9" is average, about 30 to 40,000 a year. And that doesn't even account for if he's handsome. That doesn't mean he's straight. He could be gay. That doesn't mean that he's charismatic or charming. That doesn't mean that he's not a creep. That doesn't mean that he knows how to talk to women. That doesn't mean he's masculine. That doesn't mean that he's going to pay for dates and provide and protect, right? When women say they want a man that's 6 feet, 100,000, that's the bare minimum now. That's what I always hear women say. 6 feet, 100K. Automatically, those two right things put a man in like the top fucking like 5%.
Yep.
So you're fucking describing a man that's rare. And then when you ask a woman, what do you bring to the table? Not money, but are you going to fucking get into a gender role? Do you even know what a man that's rare wants in return from his woman? They can't even fucking give you an answer.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. And because of dating apps and because of the influx of like of social media, and women just have, you know, right, but they're conflating attention with intention. Meaning a woman can get 1,000 hits a day, but most of those guys they don't even fucking want anyway.
Yeah.
Most of those guys, they just want to fuck them anyway. They're not trying to make them their wife. So my thing is, men tip, and I've said this before, are there men now who are getting weaker? Yes. Testosterone is dropping. Men are being raised by single mothers now more than ever. Men are being educated in the gynocentric school system where overwhelmingly, right, there's overwhelming representation of female teachers, female psychologists, right, female therapists. We live in like, now it's kind of shifting. Now young men are leaning towards the right, more conservative. Before, more people were fucking libertarian.
Yeah.
Right? They were more left leaning. So we live in a society where we're telling everyone that women and men are equal, that there's no more gender roles. So of course men are going to say, fuck it then. If that's what women are going for, why do I have to pay for the date? Why do I have to protect you? You're fucking equal to me. Right? So look at the cultural rhetoric, right? But what I'm saying to you, Tiff, is that in today's society, a man that's being described as the kind of men that women want is rare. It's less of him than it is of these women. Beauty is common, high value men are not.
Right.
With that being said, let's go back to the whole thing. Men are the prize. And we ask for less.
No, y'all are exhausting.
Yeah.
Y'all are so exhausting. Y'all have the egos. Let me tell you. Wait, hold on. I get it in theory.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I apologize. You could you could punch me in my arm. But is it fair to say that a man's ego is earned? And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Man's ego is earned. Women's egos are not earned.
I
said that. Can I tell you why I said that?
Go ahead. You can go. Yeah, go ahead.
Be honest with me now. Do you think there's more delusional men or women? Come on, Ted. Let's be honest. Come on.
I think there are way more delusional women out there now.
Why? You know why? Because society doesn't remind women when they're fuck ups. Like, women are the only out of the two sexes that can go through life and be failures and not and the repercussion of their failures not be pushed in front of them. Like, as a man, if you're a fucking loser as a man, society will let you know.
Will remind you every day.
But see, the problem is when you're a failure and a loser as a woman, you're not gonna fucking see the repercussions of that until you get old.
Right.
That's the difference. As a man, if I'm a fuck up, girls are not gonna want to fuck me. I'm not gonna have guys that want to be around me, hang out with me because I'm a fucking loser.
Right.
A woman is comforted through her lies and through her fucking fuck ups and her bullshit. And we'll still tell women, you know, go queen, go girl, yes, you the shit. Men, we don't get that, right? So what I'm saying is that men, we have to earn our ego. If a man is successful, right? If a man fucks a lot of girls, that means he's doing something right. Wait, hold on. Tiff, okay. Man fucks a lot of girls, not saying it's morally right.
Yeah.
Has access to a lot of women, that means he's doing something right. Fair?
He's got game, I guess. Sure.
Whether he's handsome, whether he has money, whether he has game, whether he has swag, whatever, something is right?
Okay, yeah.
A woman doesn't have to have anything right, and she can get go outside and get fucked like this. It doesn't take a woman can go outside.
True.
Right. So that goes to show you right there. A woman doesn't have to earn her ego. A woman can be a 19-year-old girl living at home with her mom, eating fucking microwave food, doesn't have a job, a credit score that doesn't even fucking exist, and still have a line of men waiting to take her out.
Yes, but I will say this.
But hold on.
And then I'll go to the ego point. I will say this about that. It's the value.
Huh?
Who are these men that are waiting to fuck her, though? Are they men just wanting to sexually objectify her because she's easy? Or are these high value men waiting in line saying, I want to make you my wife?
No, but here's the thing, though. Before a man wants to make you his wife, he's going to want to get sexual with you first. Remember, we don't see relationship first. You guys are relationship people. We're not. We're sexual beings. Like I told you, men, in order to have a connection, we need to have sex with you. Women, in order to have sex, you guys need a connection. So we're wired differently. Remember, we're different. So a woman can accomplish nothing, have nothing, and these are men who can be high value men, will still want nothing from her other than just her being a pleasant woman. A woman can be pretty and pleasant and have no ambition or nothing and still will have suitors. That's my point.
You know what? No, you're
all right.
No argument there.
A man, we can't just come to the table just being fucking nice. We have to have a bevy of fucking things, right? So what I'm saying is that's why I say, who gives people an ego? Typically, it's the opposite sex that gives you your ego.
So, okay, with the ego thing,
I'm talking about socially. I'm not talking about in your educations. I'm talking about just at a base level in the dating market. Who gives you your ego? The opposite sex. Right?
I don't agree with that 100%. I want to say for men, men have egos. Like, that is part of their id, right? Like, they are very egocentric. They're born like it's just a male-centric type of characteristic.
Men have egos, though. Like, not all men have egos. Some men lack confidence, but I'm saying, though, like, the men who have that ego, right? Yeah. Who do, they got that ego because they had to do something correct to get that affirmation from the world, Tiff.
So the ego starts from somewhere. It doesn't just start because you got a good job, right? And you blossomed into
I'm saying, no. I'm talking about in dealing with the opposite sex. A man gets
right.
because of how the opposite sex treats him.
I think that men's ego is like, it's like a grade. Men's ego are already at 100%. Depending on how they are.
If a man that doesn't get women has a high ego?
No, just hear me out. Hear me out. A man's ego can be bruised and tortured and knocked down and chipped at, right? You had asked originally who has to earn their ego. And I feel like women in this sense, just my how I look at it, women have to earn their ego, right? Because they're not ego type people. Men are ego driven, ego type people. So men's ego starts here and either it's going to go higher depending on who they become, or it's going to go lower depending on who they are, you know.
You just proved my point. Depending on who they become dictates how high their ego is, right?
But their ego is already here. They don't necessarily, like, women have to earn that, like, respect, that place, that, you know.
So let me walk you through your logic. Who has a higher ego? A 19-year-old woman that's attractive, or a man that's 19? Everything the same. She's just beautiful and he's average looking. Who has a higher ego? And the ego is based upon the opportunities that they get from the opposite sex.
Okay, so all right, to answer your question, it really depends, right? Because when you also think about ego, you also think about someone having a big head, like being
but it has to come from somewhere,
themselves, right?
But it has to come from somewhere, though.
Well, right, and that's why I said it starts earlier. It doesn't just happen when, you know.
Who gets more validation from the opposite sex when they're at their youngest, men or women?
Girls.
Okay.
Women.
All right.
Absolutely.
For doing nothing. That's my point. I'm saying, okay, what I'm saying is that for a man to have the same opportunities as a woman, he has to have a lot of money. He has to be very successful. He has to have done something in his life to even be on a fucking yacht where a 19-year-old girl who hasn't accomplished shit can end up on a billionaire's yacht.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, my point is that a man's ego, we both have egos, men and women.
Yeah.
A man's ego, because they're like, I think a man's ego is actually their emotion, right? Like, women are emotional creatures. We're emotional, our hearts, but men are emotional based on their egos. If their egos are stroked, they're like, yeah, I'm that nigga, right? If a man's ego is bruised or chipped at, you know, then they start to crumble and they feel some type of way.
I'm not arguing that. No, I'm not arguing that. But here's my argument. What I'm saying is that I'm not saying that men don't by nature tend to have higher egos because of their masculine whatever.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying men have to earn their egos while women don't have to earn their egos. Meaning, because we already said, let's walk through your logic. A woman can fucking get so much attention from the world, get flowed out by. Listen, imagine being a 17-year-old fucking girl, and the only accomplishment that you have is that you're attractive, and you're getting flown out by Drake and LeBron James and celebrities for doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm saying for a man to have that same opportunity, he has to. In order for LeBron James to call a man on the phone, he has to be a man that can help LeBron make money.
Right.
He has to be a man that started a business that LeBron is interested in. A business, but a woman can have done nothing and still get the same opportunities. That's what I'm saying.
True, and I think that's like ego aside, right? Like I agree with that. I see. I struggle with that, right? Like I literally struggle with that because, like, let's just say my ex-husband,
mm-hmm.
the woman that he's with or not with, whatever they got going on, situationship now is like not even like a quarter of the woman that I was, right? And I think a lot of high value women struggle with that, where it's like, so you mean to tell me if I just spread my legs and pop the baby out, I can have everything that I want? Like
But you know,
I didn't have to like make sure I kept myself up and looked pretty for my man and made sure the house was clean and like gave up my career so that you could go back to school and all this stuff. Like I did all of that, and like this bitch gets shit handed to her. It's crazy.
and here's the thing, and this is bad for women, is that you guys think you're praised for the same things men are praised for. This is why a woman, right? Listen to this. This is very deep. A woman who was a fucking C-suite CEO or lawyer or doctor, right, can't fucking fathom how she loses her man to a woman that's like a fraction of what she is professionally. But just because she's softer, she shuts the fuck up, she listens more, she's more valuable than a woman who makes all the fucking money in the world. And women fucking hate that, because women have tried to be masculine for so long. When they lose their fucking man to a woman that's not, they're like, damn, I did the opposite of what I was told to do. I'm sorry, I was doing the shit that society told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
My man will love me for that. But this is why I say, women, you guys don't understand us. Like you guys hate it when we say we don't give a fuck about your career. Like men are ashamed when we say we don't care about a woman's career, because that's a woman's ego being bruised, because you spend so much time spending money on going to college, you're in debt, and you become this big time corporate juggernaut, but yet you still can't fucking find a husband or keep a husband.
Right.
And the fact that the man that you want is not as invested in your fucking career as you are. Because you want him to be invested. But that's why I say women don't understand men, because we don't give a fuck about that. We care about the opposite. But that's just like a tangent. But what I'm saying to you is that, like, I was looking up the word ego, so we can have and we all know what it is, but just looking at a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, right? So if a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, the way a person has a boost of self-esteem or self-importance when dealing with the data market is what kind of attention that they get.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if a man is getting a bunch of women, there's a journey he had to go through, Tiff, and he's going to look back and say, damn, I came a long way. Now look at me. I have all the women I can ever desire. At a time, I didn't.
Right.
But I put in work. I went to the gym. I got fit. I started making money. I started working on myself. So now I can see why I'm getting this type of women, where a woman doesn't have to do a fucking thing, and she's going to get flued out. She's going to get opportunities to be on yachts. She's going to get 1,000 fucking hits in her Hinge and her Tinder, where they did studies on this, that men barely get a fucking message or a like.
Right.
And I think I put it on a podcast where I had a homegirl. She showed me her hand. I said, let me just see your hand. Yo, that shit was like, yo, no lie. It was like flooded. So this is why I can't be mad at women. I'm like, I tell guys, I'm like, don't be mad when women ghost you or don't call you back. I said, imagine if put yourself in the shoes of a fucking 18-year-old girl who hasn't done anything and still getting constant validation from men. Listen, now, back in the day, a woman would have to date who was in her fucking neighborhood. I don't give a fuck how beautiful you are, Tiffany. Back in the day, before Instagram, before digital media, where you can just like the global data market, you would have to only date the best guy in Cherry Hill or Kent, whatever the fuck.
Right.
Now, a girl who's growing up, right, that's attractive can go on her fucking phone
and meet somebody from Australia.
She's fielding offers like, nope. That's why I tell guys, I'm like, yo, bro, even if you make it to a date with a girl, not to say that you should be happy about that. You should still have a little bit more self-worth to even not be that happy just for the bare minimum. But think about it from like a statistical standpoint. A girl gets flooded with DMs, flooded with Instagrams. Motherfuckers are flooding her Hinge or Tinder, whatever, her dating apps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that you made it on a fucking date with her means you beat out hundreds of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yo, this is why niggas niggas be like, yo, I did everything on the day.
It's like the Hunger Games.
Niggas be like, yo, I did everything right. I paid, I picked her up, I dropped her off, I did everything. And I haven't heard from her. You did nothing wrong, my guy. It's just that you have to compete with 1,000 other niggas.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Am I right?
No, you're right. I'm gonna say this. So I started doing the dating apps, right? I had like all of them, and like I was eating for free.
Fuck, eat for free? The fuck? A nigga can't even get a fucking a dollar water. Come on, man.
But see, I wasn't like, honestly, once I realized like once I figured out the matrix of the dating apps, I'm like, I could eat for free. So like if I got hungry one night, I would just like hit somebody up and like there's a new restaurant and I'm like, oh, so what are you doing? So most people use it, I don't know, to meet people or to have sex or whatever. I literally used it to eat.
And Tiff, a woman can use it whatever the fuck she wants to use it for, because like once you start using things for its initial purpose and it gets boring, you can start using things that was built for one purpose for just to have it. I'm using it for experiments. I'm using it for drinks, dessert, I'm using it for dinner. I'm using it for like just to get my back rubbed.
No, literally, there was two guys that were from out of state that like flew me out, and I ended up ghosting them and hung out with my friends who lived in those cities. I know. Yo, I was on a fuckboy thing for a little bit. That's not really who I am, but I'm just being honest for the audience.
Tip, I love you being honest, Tip. But listen, right? I always compare a 19-year-old girl that's pretty is like a young man going to the NBA signing a multi-million-dollar contract. Like, it's just like, and you get mad when they abuse their power. The same thing how a nigga from the hood who gets a rap contract or an NBA deal, he starts buying chains and jewelry. That's how it is with a woman. When imagine a woman that grew up poor or grew up economically challenged with parents that didn't give her anything. She's growing up now. She's like, damn, I can leverage my body for attention and resources of men, and I don't even gotta fuck them. A pretty woman with a phone in her hand, that's like a bomb.
It is.
That's a fucking bomb. But so what I'm saying, so that's why, let me walk you through your logic. That's why I said Tiff. And I do this to everybody, so don't feel bad. I'm keeping it. Yo, listen, when it comes to this like debate shit, like I work hard because I like to use stats and data. Even if because a lot of times people like to go to their emotions, like I don't think that. And at a time, I might not have thought it, but when you look at the data and statistics, like I take this seriously. So when I say a man has to earn their self-esteem and ego, because if a man is fucking a bunch of girls, he had to do something right. When a woman is fucking a bunch of guys or she's getting flued out by a bunch of guys, she didn't have to do nothing right.
Right.
So I'm not saying that a man doesn't have higher egos naturally than women. If you take away all the extra shit, I'm saying today's society in the data market, a woman doesn't have to earn her validation that she gets from men. While men, we have to earn the validation that we get from women. Like a man, we don't even get gifts. If a man's getting gifts and he's getting money, that means that he did something fucking monumental to get a woman to spend money, because women don't like spending their own money on men. Like I've heard a data thing where this marriage counselor said the difference between a man being rich in a marriage and a woman being rich is that when a woman saves money, it's for exit. When a father is saving money, it's for the family. Like when a dad is rich, he spends it on the family. When a mom is rich, she puts it to the side so she can get the fuck out.
I hate that. And I know that that's not 100%. Right?
Like, I hate it too, but let's just talk about what it is. Tim, let's talk about what it is.
I'm gonna say, I know that wasn't 100%, right? Like I know that, let's say that 60%. The women that I know that save money, right? And again, they're saving money for the rainy day because maybe the guy isn't a good spender. Not that he abuses money, right? But maybe he's not a saver, right?
Weekend, women are in more debt. Women are bigger consumers than men. It's easier to sell to women. So I would argue men are better managers of
you can say that, but the reality of it is that women are the ones that are usually on top of finance. They know how much the electric bill is, they know how much the food is going to be for the week, and they have to be able to budget and not overspend and still be able to put away for that rainy day. I've always been that way, and my mother's always said not to have the separate account to hide from your mate. Have that separate account because for that rainy day when the hot water heater goes in the middle of the winter, right? Or, a summer camp or something that comes up. It's also how you're being raised too, right? We can always say that, but my mother never said, oh, have that secret account so it's your getaway fund. She says, have a secret account that you don't tell him about because he might use that money for something stupid, but you're going to need that money because God forbid Murphy's Law can happen in your relationship, and you want to be able to say, oh, your grandfather passed away who lives in Hawaii, and now you need the $1,200 for a plane ticket and you don't have it. Guess what? I have it, right? Like, so, and I do the same thing. I don't have money stashed away for the getaway. I have money stashed away for Murphy's Law. The engine could blow. You know, like anything could happen.
I mean, women in marriages who are given that duty of managing money, they're going to become good at it. But I just mean like women separately living by themselves and men separately living by themselves, historically, who have handled money better, who are more of a consumer based, men or women, and it's women. Women
are very consumer based. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. And look, your mom's an anomaly, man. Your mom's a beast. I don't even want to include her in none of our talks because she's like exceptions don't make the rule. You know what I'm saying? But I said all that to say, Tip, is that men, like when a man is in demand, he's doing something right and he's rare. Even if a woman is not saying she wants a millionaire, the shit that women think are bare minimum are really 5% guys. Like the 6 feet, that's not normal. But women think it's normal, right? Women think, and men are more honest about who they think that they kind of like qualify for. Like a man who's a bum knows he's not getting a fucking bad bitch. Like he knows that.
Yeah.
Like if you're a man living on some men don't even have the confidence to try, but at least we know where we stand though.
Yeah.
Like men, we know, like men, we understand pecking order. We're men are more meritocracy based. Women are more communitarian based. Like everyone gets equal no matter what work they put in.
Mm-hmm.
Men are like, yo, bro, you didn't do shit. Shut the fuck up. That's how men move. So it's like, as a man, we know who and what we qualify for. The problem is women don't. And when you ask women what they think they qualify for, they're describing a man that's out of their fucking league, that's like 100 times better than them. And then if they get lucky and kind of get that guy, they still hold him to the same standard as they hold a man that's not in their fucking league.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Tiff.
I was saying the same thing for women too, on the vice versa. Yeah. I told you my story. You know, like I'm done cooking. I've been the oldest in the house growing up. Yeah. I had to do the chores. I had to help with the cooking and help with the, you know.
I think you're tired. Listen, Tiff, let me just diagnose this. You're fucking exhausted and tired.
Yes.
But imagine if you would have had this mentality when you were younger. You would have had a man that was a fucking provider and a leader.
Yeah, I probably would have a different type of man.
Because you led with your leadership.
Yeah.
Now understanding that no one set you down and said, Tiff, the kind of man that we need to tell women the men that they need, not the men that they want. Because a lot of times the men that women fucking want are detrimental to them.
Yeah.
So a man should come in and tell you, yo, be quiet. I know you want this, but this is the kind of man that's going to benefit you when you're older, growing into your older years. Right now, you're in reverse. You're into a 19-year-old girl because now you don't like now as an older, not because you're not older, but a woman that had kids already, a woman that got married already. Now you want a man that's going to take you out of that fucking masculinity.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But back in the day, you were leading with your masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
So you put yourself in that position because you were so competent and so you had such leadership qualities that only a man that wasn't a leader and wasn't masculine can appreciate that. Right. So not to say that you shouldn't be competent, not to say that you shouldn't be, it's
not a bad thing. Right. And listen, I was a stay-at-home mom. Like I wasn't like somebody who was like, no, I got nannies for my kids and I'm working 12 hours a day. Like I was a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. Like I did my thing.
No, and Tip, here's the thing. It's not bad bad and good are subjective terms. Like what's bad to you might not be bad to her. We have to stop going with the bad or good and go with what outcome do you want? And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're telling the person that you want XYZ, but you're doing things that's going to yield different results, that's insanity.
Yeah.
So if you want a man that's masculine, you're going to have to be feminine.
Mm-hmm.
You want a man if you don't want a man that's feminine, you're going to have to fall back and be more feminine.
Yeah.
Right? If you want a man that's masculine, you're going to have to prove that you are the kind of woman that he wants. And men who are masculine tend to want feminine women. But yeah, man, that's what it is. And a lot of times I think that just by understanding what women want, you can bypass what women say. Because I would argue more men lose by listening to what women say. Like I always say, never listen to what a woman says, look at what she responds to. And this is what drives men crazy because men are listening to what women want and they're doing what they want and they're still not successful. But this is why, as you become more wise and understanding of a female's nature, you know not to pay attention to what the fuck women say.
But it's also, like I said before, we are not taking the time to understand what our basic needs and wants are. So how are we going to be able to articulate that to someone else? If we don't know what it is and we're just spewing stuff out of our mouths, and that person tries to do what we said, of course it's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to make us happy, because guess what? That's not truly what we want. And no one's taking the time out to figure that out. And I think that's the lesson of like this whole conversation, is that before you can ask someone to dig deep, you know, into you and your wants and your needs and how you operate and, you know, fulfilling all of the things on your list, you have to be really, really real and vulnerable with yourself.
Yeah, you have to be self-aware. A lot of people lack self-awareness, but and I think that we have to like, it's okay, and, you know, too. I think there's a lot of pressure socially on different, you know, groups that lead them to say the opposite of what they actually really, really desire.
Yeah.
Too, Tip, just because you say you want something, or you might think you want something, that doesn't mean that it's good for you. You know, long term.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that even groups of people now, they're saying no to the things that made them their most successful.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I'm somebody who literally said I've been manning the steering wheel the whole, like, forever, and now it's Jesus take the wheel. Whatever the universe has prepared for me, that I'm gonna go with that. Because
look, and you're lucky. You still look young. You still look good. So you still can like still get the kind of man that you want. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're competing with women your fucking age, even women younger than you. You know, you have a youthful appearance. So other women might not have that fucking, they might not embody that. So it's going to be worse for them.
I wish I had that mentality, but unfortunately, you have to, like, that mentality comes with wisdom. You know what I mean? If I had that wisdom at 20.
But what I'm saying is that because you look young for your age, you're able to get away with this shit.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That a woman who's coming into this realization at your age but don't have the youthful appearance, they're still going to be fucked up. So they can't follow you because you have an advantage. You understand what I'm saying? Too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you can't follow certain people. Everyone's different. A girl that's in her 40s but looks great, even though she can't compete with a girl that's in her 20s, because if everything was equal, you're going to go with the younger girl. But if she looks great and looks younger, she still might be able to get away with bad habits. Or she can get away with the fact that she learned this shit in her 40s and still capitalize on it.
You're right. You know why?
Yeah, like,
no, my partner literally tells you, you're lucky you're so cute because you got a slick mouth. Right?
I'm saying, like, yo,
that's exactly what you're saying.
Right? That's leverage.
Right.
Leverage. If a man thinks you're attractive, you have a little bit more leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Man is successful if he's able to, like, if he's tall, if he's fucking handsome, he has a little bit more leverage.
Right.
That's why that's part of one of the topics that I had was leverage over love. Right.
Let's talk about that. Let's
I gotta close out, but next time.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm writing that down. Leverage over love. I love that.
Yeah. Tiffany, man. Yo, I really appreciate you joining me today on a Sunday to get this topic out. Like, I really
I miss Ty.
I know he's gonna tomorrow we're gonna do another episode. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Tiff. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Last closing remarks, anything?
No, I just think, listen, y'all, comment on this discussion so we can interact with you guys. We want to know how you feel, what's your opinion, if you disagree with us. Yeah, I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say.
I just really want people to take their emotions and personal anecdotes out and see what gets rid of. Like it takes a special person to like base life based upon what gets results and what doesn't get results.
Mm-hmm.
Like if a woman is really real with herself and says, you know what, I might say I want nice guys, but I only fuck the bad guys. I think that's one of the first steps to like being honest as far as, being real with yourself so that other men can understand it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I tell people I like guys who do X, Y, Z, but they're all on my friend zone. Think about it. They're only your friend zone. The guys that do so much for you, and you keep running back to the guy that you talk bad about. So it has to be some truth. What I'm saying, that you have to connect with a girl's biology and subconscious, not her conscious, because your conscious is like your lawyer. It's going to tell the world what's right. It's not going to tell what you truly respond to, and because a person can't really control what turns them on. I've heard women tell guys, like, I've heard this. Damn, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I cheated. I did. So logically, she didn't want to, but she still was driven to do so. So you always want to be a girl's, like Tyree said this, you always want to be a woman's dessert, not her vegetables. Her dessert just feels, so she doesn't. The vegetables, she has to tell herself to eat, even though it's good for her. You understand? So, and I've heard women say, I'm sorry, I'm just turned off. I want to like you. Like, logically, I want to like you, but you just don't turn me on.
Right.
So you always want to be the thing that gets a girl going that she can't even explain. That's power. So I'm gonna end up. Tim, you're the best, man. I appreciate you, man. I love your presence. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Mo. I appreciate it. See you
All right,
guys.
later.
Bye.
Peace.